Thank you very much. Okay, so I was on the Eurostar this morning to join Mark at Criteo and a few others on stage later in a panel discussion. And they said to me, one of our keynotes is pulled out. Do you fancy getting up on stage? So I've had 45 minutes or so just to get my act together. Hopefully it makes a bit of sense and hopefully you enjoy it. Now, for those of you who don't know ASOS, we are a pure play retailer. We're a fashion retailer, and we're a great British brand, although based in a number of countries with a core focus on US, UK, Germany, and France. So those are our key markets. We've got many billions of visits to our owned and operated properties each year. And most of our traffic, unsurprisingly, is on mobile. So we get roughly 86% of our traffic to mobile, and about 60 to 65% of all of our transactions are actually transacted on mobile. It's a 20-something fashion-loving audience that we cater to. And even though we have a few core markets, we deliver to over 200 countries worldwide. And we are a company that focuses on offering big brands to our customers, but also it's about, I suppose, this curation of these brands and these products. But the key differentiator of ASOS is that we're also a creator. So we create our own product, our own fashion, and we bring those to market in a mix that we kind of put together and create and curate these products to our audience. Now, we're fortunate enough to work with almost 800 or 900 of the leading brands in the world, and we work across fashion, sportswear, and face and body. So we've got a fairly diverse offering, although fashion is by far the biggest. In addition to the brands that we work with, we also have 17 brands, as I mentioned, of which ASOS owns. So the likes of ASOS Design, Collusion, Topshop, Topman, and a bunch of others. And we love to kind of bring that creativity together as well, and putting that together with our brands. Now, in terms of the offering, I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things. One is the key focus of our business, which of course is providing fashion and products to our customers, but also I'm going to talk about what my area of the business does, which is the media group, and that's how we work with our brands to communicate these messages and their big launches to our audience. Now, this fashion-loving 20-something audience, we have to think about it in a number of ways. So we've got over 25 million customers who shop with us each year. And we really kind of look about how do we curate that properly, and we break that down into a number of personas. So we kind of look at the personas in terms of how do we bring a diverse range of customers what they want. One of our mottos is help our customers to be who they want to be. And you know, customers have a very diverse range of fashion sense and fashion choices. It's not just about like what fashion appeals to them, but it's also the stage in the actual fashion adoption curve that they're in. So they might be very kind of edgy, early adopters of new fashion, or they might be kind of more mainstream. So it's a combination of let's get the right personas into place, and then let's look at where our customers are adopting that fashion. And that's how we go about creating our own brands and products and fashion. And we also work with the big global brands in a similar way. So we do this across women's wear and, of course, men's wear as well. Now, our brands really like working with us for a number of reasons. One of the obvious ones is they love the audience itself, so the fashion-loving 20-something audience. It's not an easy audience to kind of focus in on and target, and sometimes one that these brands can't actually reach well on their own sites and also online elsewhere. So it's very much a place to help these brands reach the audience, but it's also about the tone of voice that ASOS speaks to the customer in. You know, we're a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, a little bit more relaxed, and our communications are all in that kind of manner. So it's a bit like getting fashion advice from a friend rather than a big corporate. And that's what our brands like. In addition to that, brands tell us that their global guidelines are very restrictive. So you can imagine, some of these corporate global brands, the giants, they've got very strict global brand guidelines, and we kind of give them a bit of space and room to experiment a little and also push the boundaries a bit. So you might think of companies like Ralph Lauren, for instance, very stringent brand guidelines, not too willing to kind of move off how they want to put their brand across to customers. But our creative teams tend to kind of push those brands into being a little bit more edgy and having a kind of slightly different tone of voice than what they might be comfortable with, because that's what we know our customers want to hear. They want to see our brands and the brands we work with kind of put next to each other in different ways. It's not like you're going to see a model in head-to-toe Adidas or head-to-toe Ralph Lauren. We're going to put that look together, and we're going to curate a look based on what's cool at the moment. How are we going to style those Sambas with some other cool, maybe ASOS brands, maybe other brands. And that's something that they'll get on ASOS that they might not get on their own sites, as you can see here with Adidas's Samba, probably the hottest trainer of the year, definitely in no need of brand heat, and I'll talk about brand heat in a moment, but that's how you see them on Adidas. And if you look at how we style the Samba, that's how it shows up. This is the kind of way we'd show up on ASOS to our customers. And like I said, it's more about styling head to toe rather than just putting a picture of a trainer on a product detail page. So it's very much about what way will a certain type of customer or a certain type of persona, how will they style this look? And it's about wearing those trainers, in a dressed up way. Maybe you can wear it with a skirt or a dress for a lady during the evening. You might want to wear it very differently during the day if you're going to work or going to the gym. And we'll show that too. In terms of ASOS Media Group, it's very much about working with our brands and focusing on their objectives, but it's a storytelling component. So our retail media business is quite different to a number of others in that most companies will start and they'll experiment with putting sponsored ads in search and display ads on the site. We were completely the other extreme. We were kind of about fashion shoots and bringing the new launch of a new trainer or a new product to market. How does that look on the models? And how do we want to explain that to our customers in a very, very visual way to resonate with our brand? So let's get the objectives together and let's really look at the storytelling that resonates with the brands. And that's always been our key focus. Originally, we had a magazine, one of the biggest magazines in the UK, actually, a fashion mag, and that ran between 2007 and 2019. And it actually grew into the biggest fashion magazine in the UK, if you can believe that, even if you compare it to Vogue and Cosmo and all the big fashion mags in terms of readership. So, we've got a good steeped heritage in retail media and fashion credibility. And then even when the magazines weren't that popular anymore and we transitioned into more of a digital focus, we still carry that whole sense of fashion through. To bring that to life a little bit, and this is a brand that certainly doesn't need any brand heat from ASOS, but the kind of spin that we'll bring to a brand like Nike is, there'll be a, if this works, what's a good presentation without some tech challenges, right? Okay, so hopefully that catches up with me. I'll try and explain it while we wait for the presentation to carry on. But one of the things that Nike wanted to do was, bring their new range as they do to bear once or twice a year. We had a future fitness campaign earlier this year, and a very serious business of sports and fashion. Sports and fitness. It's a very very serious business. People want to get fit, they want to work out, they want to train, set their PBs and all the good stuff. And the way in which we approached it was slightly different. So we actually went about convincing Nike to do it in a slightly different way. And we were saying to them, okay, we know Nike's all about, winning and running and do it and all the good stuff. But we see fashion fitness in a slightly different way, a bit more tongue-in-cheek, a bit more relaxed. And so we got together with them and we decided to make it, focused on having more fun. So how do we incorporate the serious business of fitness into our customers' natural lives? So instead of running on the treadmill or try and set your PB on the road, it's running for the bus. Instead of hitting a high-intensity workout in the gym class, it's let's kind of go out to a nightclub and dance the night away. Instead of doing a yoga Pilates session, it's about reaching for the pizza. So a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, but the results speak for themselves, and the way it resonates with our customers is really intriguing, and they love it. Another example, I haven't got the imagery here, but another example in the kind of more fashion-focused category. Levi's, their 501 jeans, iconic brand, iconic jeans, iconic silhouette, with probably decades of customers. Some of us older than ASOS' 20-something target market. Our target market might not know the iconic Levi's 501 as well as all of us might. And the challenge here was, how do we bring such an iconic brand and iconic silhouette to the 20-something customer in a way that's a little bit innovative and different? So we decided to do away with the highly polished, glossy models or talent, and we went a bit kind of edgy. We did some street casting. We found artists, activists, kind of youth founders of small businesses, and we pulled together quite an eclectic bunch of people, and we styled the jean in a way that was about finding the future icon. And that was the theme of the campaign, and it was really quite refreshing and really got fantastic results with our audience. So those are a couple of examples of how we kind of bring those to life. And the creative itself often doesn't get enough exposure or should I say credit within the retail media environment. Today, there's probably going to be a lot of talk about first-party customer databases and audiences. I'm sure this morning there was a lot of talk about that already. And of course, the audience is everything. Retailers' customer is everything. It becomes increasingly more important in an environment without cookies. But the creative is the critical thing for ASOS and one of our key differentiators. And of course, the media product portfolio is the vehicle in which we can bring that to our customers and really communicate the objectives and do it in the way in which that helps our brands do whatever they need to do, whether that's creating awareness of a new brand, launching a new brand or product, or of course harvesting the demand right the way through to someone looking for something they already know they want to buy. And it is a challenge for retailers. We all spend a lot of time working on building a great portfolio of ad products. Lots of talk in the past few years about retail media. It's by no means a new industry. The grocers have been doing it for many decades in store and of course online. And it's really getting a lot of airtime these days. But as we move more into the kind of digital age, the expectation is that retailers have this really sophisticated offering up and running. The reality is that many of us are playing a kind of fast game of catch-up. So you obviously need your creative, and in our case, that's one of our kind of centerpieces. But the challenges, and I suppose where we need to work with brands and agencies and the ad tech providers really closely, is how do we put together the right portfolio of ad products, which is the vehicle, but it's also the targeting of those ads to the right customers, and it's also the whole aspect of measurement. And later on, when we have our discussion with Criteo about retail media, we'll be kind of delving more into the targeting and measurement and some of the challenges that we face. But it's very much about being open with, as a brand, being open with retailers about what metrics are you really after, what's important to you. And for the retailers, it's about listening, and it's about standardization of these metrics to make sure that you can make good comparisons across all of the different retailers that you might work with. And that, in a nutshell, is how we kind of get together. We do what we want, what we need to for our 20-something fashion-loving audience. I'm going to finish off with a couple of points on what does 2024 hold for us. Some of the challenges that we might have faced that we're kind of getting over. For many retailers, it was a big challenge coming through the pandemic. It was fantastic because suddenly online retail was the only place you could buy certain products. Fashion was definitely one of them. So, we went from being an extremely focused fashion and trend-focused business to suddenly, hey, we've got so much demand, we need to be stocking a lot more than just what's really fashionable and trendy. So it was kind of a double-edged sword. I was going to say we fell into a trap, but we catered to the demand that was there, and we built up a much bigger, broader range of product and services that we could offer. And coming through the back end of a pandemic, we had to do a lot of serious head scratching where suddenly our stock had been bloated and inflated by probably 100% in terms of what it was before the pandemic. And that creates a lot of problems for retailers' logistics, and then trying to offload the stock when suddenly people are wanting to migrate. Hey, we want to go back to the high street and we want to interact with the clothing. We want to use it as a social experience. So we've spent the past 12 months really taking a close look at how do we really get back to our essence, fashion, trend, the target audience of being younger and the 20-something fashion-loving focused audience that we know is our customer base and we want to service properly. And we've had this kind of painful transition of offloading stock that wasn't perhaps as hot as it might have been. And stuff that was hot today is certainly not hot in 12 or 24 months' time. So it's been a big learning curve for us and something that's been slightly painful. In terms of kind of next steps, we've got a big focus back into what we call ASOS Style Insiders. And our customer is very much lives and exists on social media. Everything they do is informed by social media. So the 45 million customers that we have on our social media feeds, we want to service in a way that we use the talent in our business. So these ASOS insiders are actually ASOS employees. Many of our employees are our customer. If you walk into our offices, you see people trooping in the mornings in whatever's cool. I'm definitely not in that category, but I always look out to see what I should be buying my kids because you can see what's hot. And these are the people, the enthusiasts who are really focused on finding the latest brands that are emerging, the latest products and how to style them and put together. So there's a big focus on social media. We'll also be extending that into our retail media offerings so that our brands can work with our ASOS insiders to work on their campaigns and their creative. And then lastly, couple of key focuses. Sportswear has always been a massive one for us, where we put that fashion lens across the sportswear, like I described with Nike. We do that with a number of the big brands. And then one of the biggest growing categories is face and body, where we have over 100 face and body brands. We've just done a massive launch with Kylie Cosmetics. Sol de Janeiro was another brand that's an up-and-coming brand that's really kind of keen on pushing creative boundaries. We did a great campaign where we styled kind of really a broad range of looks for beachwear. People to be proud of however they look, no matter whether big, small, whatever. And really kind of looked at working with them on body positivity and positioning people on owning who they are and really expressing themselves in a fashionable sense. And that's really what keeps us going. So that's all I've got for you today, but if you'd like to speak to me some other time, be happy to, or please do be in contact, but You know, that's ASOS, the fashion-loving 20-something place where we hope to cater for that audience globally. Thank you.